for the very latest.
What up, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter,
world,
Facebook? Listen to the sound of my voice. I have a cool way for y'all to get free merch from us and support the channel at the same time. But this is what you got to do. All you got to do is, first of all, subscribe to the channel. Click. Don't cost you no money, right? Just click. Hit the bell.
Yep.
Free, right? That's step number one. Step number two, leave a comment. It don't matter what you leave. It could be the letter C. It could be the fire emoji. It could be the crown. Whatever emoji you want to leave on there, just leave an emoji. Step three is up to us. All we're going to do, we're going to put you on the drawing. Now, listen, you can put your name on as many videos as you want. The more videos you leave a comment on or emoji, whatever you want to leave, the more times you get added in the drawing. Right? We're going to draw your name and we're going to send you the merch. Simple as that. Real easy. All you got to do, follow those steps and we will send you some merch. All right?
Subscribe for the very latest.
They wanna kill me cause I'm black, but they can't kill me cause I'm black. I'm every color on the palette, my footprints, the first to ever step on the map. And I know where I began, so I overstand where I'm at. I'm your highness, the highest title, numero uno. You can't degrade me, can't deflate me. You still segundo, you will not push me out of my circle. This ain't sumo, my culture is universal. From the third rock to Pluto, influential, was instrumental in the development of anything relevant that advanced our intelligence, created from the elements, birthed from the earth. It's a cycle, time lapse, I'll return to the dirt.
Hey, Walt, I'm sorry. Trim, can I talk now? Hey, you low key told me to shut up earlier, but it's okay. Cause you know what?
At least we didn't say it was church assassins.
Yeah. Hey, only you can do that, my brother. Only you can do that. Ain't none of y'all better not try that at home.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
But so I got a question for you. You know what? I'm so nice at this podcasting thing now. I could tie anything to anything.
Okay.
I'm letting y'all know that right now. I'm just dope like that right now. I'm feeling myself, man. Feeling myself, right?
Ain't that Beyonce?
Yeah, exactly. I'm glad you caught that, dude, man. Glad you caught that. So I was watching Lil Baby's Untrapped.
Okay, I haven't seen it yet, but okay.
Very, very good documentary because now I know a little bit more about Lil Baby. Mm. But in this documentary, there was a story about Atlanta. And the story goes a little like this. In 1990, there was a little thing that came to Atlanta called the Olympics.
Yeah, that was 92, 90. Yeah, well, it's probably
somewhere in the 90s.
Yeah.
92, somewhere in there, right?
Dream team.
And in preparation for that, Atlanta, this is what the documentary says, that they were pushing people from Atlanta into inner city areas, right? West End, that area and there. And then, so they're coming from Atlanta and they pushing them outside of Atlanta. Mm-hmm. And then they built these big buildings that basically blocked people from seeing those people in those inner cities, right? These cities became very poor. I mean, extremely poor. And West End is one of these areas that's like, I mean, you take all the killers and drug dealers and put them all in this one area, they bound to kill each other, right? And it made me start to think about you and what you do for the community. For those people in those communities who are a victim of basically poverty, how do you convince somebody to take that money that that's basically their last dime and invest it into insurance? Like how do you what will be your message to someone who to those type of families that, you know, that don't have much to get insurance?
That's a good one. That's a good one. You can use a story. You gotta want to relate to you gotta find the person's why, like, because you can't tap into anything, especially with insurance and things of that nature. You can't do anything without giving them a why behind it, because any impulsive, not impulsive, but anything that you spend money on, you're gonna want it. Like, I want to eat this food, so I'm gonna get it. I want to drink this soda, I'm gonna get it. You know, we will spend our money on things that we want, you know, but the things that we need is what's a little bit harder to sell. You know, do I need to you know, pay my taxes this year, or can I wait?
Right.
You know, so, you know, but that's a need, but some people may wait or not file because they know they owe. So when you talk about, hey, life insurance, maybe you can ask a simple question like, hey, has there been a time, you know, especially around our age, you know, Walt, you seem a little bit younger, but you in your 30s?
30. Well, I'm 29.
Oh yeah.
He's a young man. He's a young man with a very old soul.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, it's even him being late 20 or almost 30, it may relate, but especially us in the 30s and up, we see a lot. That's when we start seeing like death. You know, like family members, you know, hopefully not friends, but some friends, you know, from high school or whatnot that you grew up with. So you can just ask a simple question, because mainly it's the old. I feel like the poverty, you know, if it's maybe older people like in their late 40s and 50s, but even anybody that's like, hey, I just work at McDonald's or I work at Walmart. Hey, has there been a time in your family where, you know, someone did pass away and y'all didn't have the means to bury them? Or was there a time where someone did get sick, you know, in your family on disability, in your family, you know, not working? And a lot of times in impoverished communities, that's a yes. Like, hey, what happened? Well, you know, my uncle had his leg amputated, you know, from diabetes, or, you know, my mom can't work anymore because she has PTSD or something, you know, just some, you know, it's like, hey, if there was a time where, you know, and that's a relate. Okay, so how was that financially for y'all, for them? It wasn't their household, it being, hey, for your uncle or for your friend, how was it financially? Man, they struggled. Like, hey, if there's a way that, you know, you can alleviate, because they didn't know that was going to happen, but there was a way you can alleviate that unforeseen death or that sickness, and be able to have money to be able to take care of those needs. Because honestly, you know, while it takes a family 2 to 7 years to recover from an untimely death or sickness. So there's a way I could do it within your budget, to make sure that you have that in place, and just in case you need it, that's something you're open to. And it's just a question. And they're like, yeah, I'll be open to that. Okay, look, we make sure it's in your budget, nothing crazy. Maybe something less than $50, maybe a little bit more, but we'll be around that range. Is that okay? That's only about $15 a week. Yeah, you know, $15 a week, you spend that on lunch.
Right.
So just relate, or I'll share my story. Like, hey, I've been married 14 years, but in 2015, wife got diagnosed with multiple sclerosis that jeopardized our, not being able to work because she wasn't able to work, and we were 40 grand in debt. So, hey, had I had something like this in place, it would have really impacted my family, and that's why I do what I do, because we never know. So either share my story, relate to them with a story, and not saying it's always going to work, but you definitely want to build a relationship and rapport before you even go into the rest of it.
Well, what you got?
So I'll tell you a story. While I was still working at Champ Sports a couple years back, this Indian brother came up to me and put me on game about New York life. So he invited me up for an interview to talk with him and this other Indian dude. Yo, they was putting me on game about, they just straight up told me. They came after me because I was black and they liked the way I talked. They said, the black community is the most untapped community when it comes to this life insurance thing.
Hispanic as well. Hispanic, yes. Like, they are killing it.
Yes.
But yeah.
I guess my thing is, when he said why, I was like, I got a few reasons why, but I didn't really lay them all out. But you already know, when you're thinking about that, like, you just think about that family dynamic. Most of us don't have that value. Like, I when I say that, I say it in the sense of like that mother, father, make sure they leave something behind for the next generation, because a lot of that was not, obviously, our people, it was not set up for us like that. So my thing to you is like, how do you get people to see that potential to get, because they was telling me, it's like, call this person, call your family members, call this, that, and the third. And obviously what you guys got is way better, because you black and you coming from a black perspective, so you already know where to hit. So I'm saying, like, how do we get people to see that value, and like how it can for real change a community?
Again, building rapport. So you think about Benjamin Franklin. He lived in Pennsylvania. They, all the old colonies. He invested in an annuity to the city of Philly and one other city up there. And from the 1700s all the way to the early 90s, they paid that city X amount of dollars. I don't know the dollar amount, and that's just through insurance. There's a thing called Foley, bank-owned life insurance. And we know how banks work. Banks take our money, loan it to others, take that interest, and then give us pennies if it's savings or 1 or 2% in a CD or something. So they're just basically funneling our money, to make money off of it and giving it back to us. So, but what they have is their own life insurance that they've invested in, and they're making money off that as well. So it's like, if everybody else is doing it, why not? So it's just a matter of, hey, we're first generation, trying to, like I said, we're just making a good salary, just able to maybe put money away in the bank to have 6 months worth of savings. We're just not getting to that point, because living check to check is the reality of what our parents and our grandparents went through. And so if we're able to start our legacy building now, let's start it now so it can pass on, so we can be our kids or our grandkids like, yeah, I remember when Uncle so-and-so passed away, or my grandma took this out on me, and now I'm able to borrow this money from my insurance policy and start up our own podcast or my own business or buy my first property, because we have to pioneer that for our legacy and our lineage. And once we get past that, the selfishness of, I'm gonna take my money and use it and go out to the Bahamas every year, or I'm gonna go to the Essence Festival every, like, you took 3 trips in a year, and then like you could have put $200-$400 away, and did something with it. So it's just a matter of education. It's really just mindset, and if a person's just not ready. Maybe they didn't have the life experience. Maybe they just, like I said, being still had the boy or girl mentality, and they're still in their late 30s and 40s. I know I'm not gonna reach everybody, especially in our community. I gotta, it's harder with men, man. I ain't gonna lie. Sorry, I have to sit up right. It's harder with men, man.
That's what we need. This we need
like,
this.
why we can't trust each other? Like, and that's the thing. Like, why can't I follow this guy? Why do I have to look at him and compare myself and then say, well, you ain't got it yet, or hey, why should I follow? It's just like
we were set up like that.
What's that?
We were set up like that mentally.
Yeah, and I get it. It's
I think it's back to the slave time.
Yeah, and it's like we got to be competitive. We have to be. We can't just partner and like, hey, I actually brought this idea. I just need you to partner with me. And it's like, nah, I'm gonna partner with that person because he ain't you. And it's just like, well, why? We could have did this together. Why they had to be a Caucasian brother? Why they had to be somebody that lives in another state that maybe be at a higher pay rate at me, may did more in the industry, but they're not local. So you still doing stuff on Zoom and different time zones. Like, but I came to you first, and not saying, like, I hope my character showed that I was, that look, I'm just trying to partner. And so that dynamic as well, like you said, from way back when. But I really just wish that that indoctrination that they did to our people wasn't just passed on, and that's why I said we're at that point right now of breaking it through education. I mean, this whole like YouTube and TikTok and stuff. Yes, it's bad. It can be bad, but it can definitely be beneficial. The other day, my daughter taught me about Crocs. About you got sport, you go sport, and then you go casual. And I didn't know the little flip thing that's what it meant. I didn't know. And then she like, you got summer Crocs, and you got winter Crocs with the fur. And then you know if it's real, if it got this little label right here. I'm like, so I'm like, but that's what I'm saying. So the education is there, and I think the next generation is very open to learning. And that's something that, because I never was an avid reader. I just started reading. Like, I just bought this book. I asked my mentor, what can I read to my team to get them to break out of the employee mindset? She said, Cash Flow Quadrant. Even though I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he talks about this goes more in depth. So there's 4 quadrants, how money gets passed. You got employee, self-employed, business owner, and then investor. So it just talks about those 4. I haven't opened it yet. I just got it. So, but so I have to, because if you're coming to me in this business and saying, hey, I need systems and operating procedures to do this business, I'm like, no, this is a blank canvas. Do it what you will. I just give you the material, but it's nothing like set, because jobs set us up to learn that system, and that's it, not to think. And I'm trying to get you to think. I need you to think about, okay, because one scenario, like this interview is going to be different from the next interview, different from the last interview. So you can't sit in front of the client and they say, like, you just asked me a great question on playing that. I'm like, okay, nobody's ever asked me that. How do I answer it? So you have to be well read and well rounded and well taught in your industry to say, okay, this is how I go about it. And if you don't know, to say, hey, I would love to get back to you on that, because I don't know. So don't be afraid to say you don't know either. And
that's a humble spirit. That's a humble spirit, man.
So anyway, I'm done.
Subscribe for the very latest.